What if I told you there was an American muscle car born from pure rebellion? A car that didn't come from Chevy, Ford, or Dodge, but from the underdog company that refused to die quietly. This car wasn't just built to compete. It was engineered to humiliate giants. A machine with curves like a fighter jet, a roar like a battlefield, and an attitude that said, "Ignore me now, regret it forever." This is the story of the 1970 AMC Javelin SST, one of the most overlooked legends of America's muscle era. A car that fought for respect and earned it in the most dramatic way possible. The underdog enters the fight. In 1970, the muscle car world was a battlefield. Ford had the Mustang, Chevrolet had the Camaro, Dodge had the Challenger, Plymouth had the Barracuda. Each was backed by huge budgets, gigantic factories, and nationwide dealer networks. And then, there was AMC, a small company known mostly for quirky economy cars and family wagons. Nobody expected AMC to enter the muscle war. Nobody expected them to compete. And absolutely nobody expected them to win. But inside AMC, there were engineers with something to prove. Men like Dick Teague, the company's visionary designer. Teague believed AMC could build a real performance car. A car that didn't copy the Mustang or the Camaro, but introduced something fresh, bold, and unapologetically different. Design born from rebellion. The 1970 Javelin SST wasn't just another muscle car. It was a statement. Sculpted fenders, stretched fastback roofline, aggressive beak-style front end. It looked less like a road car and more like a machine built for speed. Owners often said that driving a Javelin felt like sitting in the car, not on it. Low seating, wraparound dash, deep cockpit. AMC wanted the driver to feel like a pilot. The road to racing glory. AMC didn't just build the Javelin SST to sit in showrooms. They sent it into the fire. Trans Am Racing, the most brutal road racing series in the U.S., and they hired none other than Roger Penske, the most ruthless, disciplined, and innovative race team leader America had ever seen. Then they paired him with Mark Donohue, a driver known for precision, intelligence, and the ability to push a car beyond what physics seemed to allow. When Donohue and Penske got together, the Javelin SST transformed from an underdog into a champion in the making. The Javelin didn't just compete, it scared the giants. 1970, the turning point. Even though AMC's budgets were small, their engineering wasn't. The 1970 model year brought sharpened lines, improved suspension tuning, and the heart of the beast. A lineup of powerful V8 engines. But more importantly, AMC's racing program put the Javelin in front of millions. Kids saw it. Car fans saw it. People began whispering, maybe AMC is serious. By the time the 1971 season came, the Javelin would go on to win the Trans Am Championship. But the 1970 model was the car that started it all. The car that proved AMC wasn't a joke. The car that forced the muscle world to pay attention. The cultural impact owning. A 1970 Javelin SST wasn't like owning a Mustang or Camaro. Those cars were everywhere. The Javelin was rare, different. It made people ask questions. It was the muscle car for someone who refused to follow trends, someone who wanted power, style, and performance, but with a streak of rebellion. Owners still talk about that feeling, driving something nobody else recognized, and then watching their jaws drop. The Javelin SST wasn't just a car, it was identity. Engine options. The 1970 Javelin SST offered a mean set of engines, 304 V8, 210 horsepower 360 V8, 290 horsepower 390, V8 up to 325 horsepower. The 390 was the star, torque-heavy, responsive, and surprisingly smooth. In a car this light, it meant serious acceleration. Performance numbers: 0 to 60 miles per hour, approximately 6.5 seconds with the 390 V8 quarter mile. Low 14 seconds. Top speed around 125 miles per hour. Impressive for its era. And competitive with big names like the Mustang Mach-1 and Camaro SS. Handling and chassis: AMC tuned the Javelin to feel tight and balanced. Front independent suspension, rear traction control system, anti-roll bars, low center of gravity. While other muscle cars felt heavy in corners, the Javelin felt eager. Production: only around 30,000 Javelins were built for the 1970 model year. Compare that to hundreds of thousands of Mustangs. This rarity today makes it incredibly collectible. Pricing: original price $2,800 to $3,300. Current collector value $25,000 to $70,000, depending on condition. Rare performance spec versions can exceed $100,000 at auction. Imagine you're a teenager in 1970. Your friends dream of Camaros and Mustangs. They talk about cubic inches, stripes, and factory-sponsored speed. But then, you see something different, something sleeker, more daring, more personal. You sit behind the wheel of the Javelin SST, hands gripping the thin steering wheel, the cockpit wrapping around you, the V8 rumbling beneath your feet. This isn't the car everyone buys. This isn't the car parents approve of. This is the car for someone who wants to stand out, not blend in. The engine shakes the glass. Your heartbeat syncs with the idle. You pull onto the street, press the throttle, and suddenly you're launched forward, thrown into a wave of torque and adrenaline. This is freedom. This is individuality. This is the spirit of AMC. Even today, classic car owners say, anyone can buy a Mustang, but owning a Javelin, that's a statement. The Javelin SST represents everyone who's ever been underestimated and proved the world wrong. If you love stories about forgotten legends of American muscle, cars that punched above their weight, and machines that carried the spirit of rebellion, make sure you hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the cars that shaped our automotive world. Tell me, would you drive a 1970 AMC Javelin SST? And which forgotten muscle car should I cover next? This is Gear View, bringing you the stories behind the steel, the history behind the horsepower, and the legends that deserve the spotlight. Stay tuned and keep the engines roaring.